Hello and welcome back to the Coupe de Villa podcast. I'm Scott Cooper, and we are back to talk about Aston Villa versus West Ham United from last night and talk about Villa's fourth consecutive loss in a row. So if you can handle it, please watch after this. Okay, so we were back at Villa Park after three consecutive losses, and we were looking for something a bit different from Dean Smith and the team, in the formation, in the personnel, and there was a few changes. But before we get to all that, we will. Troy wants to talk to make an apology, I think. Troy?
No, not really. Look, our dear friend Mr. Cox said in the comments of last week's video that we really do need someone like Declan Rice, and I basically told him he was full of shit. Sorry, Mr. Cox.
So
yeah, hit the nail on the head. We do need Declan Rice.
Yeah. So his goal last night was your fault, is basically,
Yeah. Just let me know who we're bagging, this week.
Yeah. Well, you don't know any Southampton players anyway, so we should be okay.
No.
All right. Yeah. So we went back to the 4-3-3. Noah. Leon Bailey started, but there was a few shocks. The two big ones being that Ings and Mings were left out. Ings apparently has COVID. Douglas Luiz as well. He might have COVID as well, but Mings was dropped on form. What did you think of that? It was a pretty big call, wasn't it?
It's a very big call to drop your skipper. I think we spoke about it. Mings has made a few costly mistakes, and maybe it was warranted. I think it's a big statement saying that no one's position is safe in the team. You're going to keep performing poorly, that you could be on the way out. But yeah, obviously with Ings and Louise, we don't know what it is. Could be injury or it could be COVID. Dean Smith said there was a bit of a COVID outbreak in the camp, so I'm assuming it's that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's different. 4-3-3. Leon Bailey started, didn't really offer that much. If I'm honest, did a couple of decent shots, but just all around were pretty poor. I think that the only standout for me was Nakamba coming in for Louise, and I think Matty Cash. They're the only two people that had good games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, I thought Bailey had a couple of nice touches early in the game, but yeah, he seemed to fade badly. And as you said, we just didn't start the game well at all. West Ham were all over us. I don't think we really even had a couple of passes in the first sort of 10 minutes of the match, and then they went 1-0 up from a really poor goal, Troy.
It was a really poor goal, but I think, when you said West Ham are all over us, we said probably about a month ago that when a Villa player gets the ball, instead of everyone, or at least two or three players collapsing to them, everybody seems to disperse. And it's a problem. And you can have Buendia with the ball. We could buy Grealish back. We were discussing this off camera. Would you buy him back for 50 million? You could put Grealish on the ball at the moment. Everybody's going to leave him. Bailey gets the ball. Everybody leaves him. Is it a case where we have a team of people like, I don't want to take responsibility here? And it comes down to training ground issues. And we have massive issues. Now, you have a look when we have the ball. As soon as the player looks like he's hesitating for whatever reason, maybe he doesn't know who to pass it to, maybe there's nowhere to go, the West Ham players jumped on him straight away and formed this ring around him. Immediately, two or three players around him, all the other players had their passes. They were shutting off the pass to another Villa shirt, and that's it. It's all over. The turnover begins, and this is what they were like all game. We started like that at the beginning of the season. What do the Germans call it? Gegenpresser or something, and we did it exceptionally well. For some reason, that whole concept seems to have gone out the window. West Ham are doing all what we call the basics of football: pass and move, follow your man, keep your shape. They're doing it absolutely brilliantly. We are doing none of the above, and this is the result of it.
Well, that's it. I mean, in that first goal, Target seemed to take an age to get out to the fullback.
Johnson, is it?
Yeah. And yeah, he's come inside and he's hit a nice shot into the corner. But the pass from Declan Rice out to him, it took an age to get there, and it just felt like it was all in slow motion, and we just weren't getting in their face at all. No, it was awful.
Yeah, as I said, just like it was in slow motion, and I just think, it's very poor. Target, he just hasn't been the same player since last season. Was it players player or supporters player? He won from last season. He was dominant. He was such a good fullback, and everyone's like, oh, do we need a new left back? Well, at the moment, I think we do. I think someone's got to put pressure on him. Obviously, Ashley Young is playing centre mid now, so we're going to have to have another backup left back at the moment. So
we will get into all that, of course. Yep, and because we did respond. We got level. Ollie Watkins scored a goal, which was pretty much the only highlight of the game. Buendia did a nice little turn past Fornells, cut it back, and wasn't the cleanest strike from Ollie Watkins, but managed to go in. And at that point, you're thinking, all right, we've been awful. We have been absolutely terrible this first half an hour or so, but we're level and we've got the momentum. Maybe something can wake up for us, but we were level for only 3.5 minutes, Troy.
Yeah, and I think it's a case that West Ham were in second gear, and for a few minutes they thought, well, let's pop it back into third, equalise, and then take the lead against Surrey, and game on. I think it was that. I genuinely think it was that easy for them. I think they are a superb side. I don't think they played particularly well, and I don't think they had to.
No, that is the issue. Like, Antonio really didn't have a great game. And yeah, I mean they were comfortable, but they weren't electric, and they were cutting through us. They were making more chances than we were. We were forced to play those long balls up to Ollie Watkins into the channels constantly. And whereas last year he was, maybe 1 out of 5, he'd kind of win the ball somehow and create something. Now it just seems like, he can't get there, or I don't know. Maybe there's a disconnect anyway. And as
the disconnect is, sorry, Scotty, the disconnect is either on a footballing level or it's on a mental level. And if it's on a mental level, Dean Smith he's lost the changing room. If a player looks at it and thinks, what am I doing here? We've had a couple of coaches that have left. Maybe there's arguments happening between Dean Smith and William Shakespeare. And yes, I said that on purpose. It's rubbing off on the players, and they're just like, you know what? You guys sort out your tactics. And when you know what you're doing, come and have a chat with us and let us know, because that's the way I would look at a player. Clearly the management doesn't have a clue what they're doing. So how can they pass that lack of information onto the players? And if I was a player, sort your shit out and then come and talk to me. And I do think, looking at the reaction of Buendia when he went off, looking at a lot of the rumors, take him how you like.
Well, yeah,
there's a problem.
That's exactly what you're talking about. We've had a lot of players spit the dummy over the last few weeks. We've had issues with organization, like things like set pieces, starting the game well. The last couple of minutes before halftime and after halftime, those sort of times, that's a manager's job to make sure the team is in sync, ready to go, fired up, and focused. And we don't look any of those things. And it's showing on the pitch. I mean, in the last 4 games, we've conceded 3 goals.
Yep.
Right? I mean, that our whole season last year was built on the fact that we had a solid defense, and we had Jack Grealish and Ollie Watkins and a few guys that could get us a goal. That was basically what the whole success of finishing 11th. And everyone thought, well, we're just going to go again. We're going to finish 6th this year. We're going to finish 7th. We're going to improve again. But none of that back 5, and I'm including Emmy in there as well, look as good as last year.
Yeah, I agree.
And the front half is just an absolute dog's breakfast. So,
but you look at the situation, and if we get relegated, and assuming that all of the players have relegation clauses, so if we can get rid of all of our players and all the loan players go back to where they're going to be, who would you not be bothered about losing? I wouldn't be bothered about Target, Twanzabi. Let's put Buendia aside for a minute. I don't think we've seen enough of him, but and the Moroccan Ronaldo. I wouldn't care if we lost either of those or either of those three. The rest of them I'd be pretty pissed off about.
Yeah.
The bulk of the team, 9 out of 11 players, 8 out of 11 players, plus I've got to be honest with you, probably most of the bench will go on to be better for other teams, and we'll look at that and go, we just wasted them. So therefore, the problem has to be
the Villa way, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
It's just somehow, somehow when players leave us, they get better, and when they come to us, they're shit. It's been a long recurring theme, maybe apart from Grealish at the moment, but yeah, it's like we could be in that relegation battle in next week. I mean, we play on the Friday night. If we lose that game, we're going to be looking over our shoulder all weekend. And
we could be looking over it for the rest of the season. And two more losses. And the confidence now suddenly, instead of thinking, we're top half the table, we're knocking on the door of Europe, confidence is high, we can knock it around, we can play a bit of football. A relegation scrap is a completely different ballgame. We know that. Dean Smith knows that. I don't think many of the players know that.
Mm-hmm. Well, we were 2-1 down, and then the moment that actually killed the game really was the sending off. And it could have been 2 sending offs, Noah. It was a bit of a VAR shambles in the, at one point I'm like, what? Who's getting sent? What's going on? And which one are they checking? But
both.
they were checking them both, and I think Hawes was lucky, and Konza maybe a little unlucky, but still, you've seen him given. He did clip his ankle, and he was through on goal. So
I think it's just more on the touch though from Bowen. They said that he took his touch towards the goal, but I don't believe he did. No. In my opinion, he's taking it further away from the goal, that touch. That's why he got sent off. I was definitely more surprised that Horse stayed on the field than Konsa, and we definitely could have lost them both. We could have lost them both easily, because that was a fair whack to the face from Courtney Horse. So I was more surprised that he stayed on the field, and I don't think he got a yellow card. I don't think he got anything. I don't recall him getting a yellow card. So I was very surprised by that. But that really killed the game off. But saying that, after the red card, we had our best spell of the game.
Yes.
Nakamba was immense. Like, Nakamba was very, very good all game, and he really showed it.
Yep, he lifted it, but it makes you wonder, why can't we play like that with 11 men? Why do we need something, like where we feel like a bit of injustice has just happened to fire us up? That's not right. That's we should be going to games against teams like West Ham and Wolves and these kind of home games, thinking, all right, we're the home team, we're on the front foot, we're going to go at you, and we're going to at least, give them something to worry about. But like we were talking about before the podcast, the only thing we've got going for us now is, get the ball to Cash or Target, knock it down the line into the channel, and let Ollie chase it and hope for a second ball. That seems to be the plan A, B, and C.
At the moment. But we played right into West Ham's hands all game. I think the commentators touched on it. I don't think I've ever seen us take so many short goal kicks. Mm-hmm. I think we need to get the ball out of our defensive half as quick as we can, and that's what the goal kick's the best opportunity to do. We pass it short, we pass it back to Konsa, to Horse, to Target, back around the whole right, like the defensive 5 or 4, and we couldn't do anything with it. And then turn the ball over, have to go again. We played right into their hands all game, all game.
Well, you see, I think that's part of the problem of playing Nakamba in there. Like, yes, he's very, very good at the closing down, and he had a great game. But when it comes to passing the ball, giving an option to the defense, building up through the back line into the midfield, into the forwards, he doesn't have that. He does, he gave away a couple of sloppy passes, and he's just he's not as good as Louise, but then Louise isn't as good at the pressure and the work rate and the getting around the field. So it feels as if we've got, one good player in two there. Like,
It just proves though, if our defensive mid, we're saying is our best player on the field that day, that's just how shit we played, in my opinion. If we're saying our right back and defensive mid were our two best players, like, I don't think you need to say any more. We just,
No. And you would think if the players know, you know what, we don't have Lois, we don't have a better CDM, Nakamba's there, he's going to struggle. Let's help him out. But again, it didn't happen. He gets the ball. What is the plan? Okay, Dean Smith says, let's work it up from the back. Let's pass the ball. Let's move it to Nakamba.
Yeah.
Then what?
Yeah.
I mean, we talk, and we have talked before. Oh, you can't play Nakamba and Louise, but
I don't see why not.
Maybe it's time to try both of them with McGinn, because McGinn looks kind of.
He was nowhere yesterday. He was nowhere. And in my opinion, one thing that quite disappointed me was his lack of leadership as the captain. Yeah. I'm not sure if you guys saw it. When Tyrone Mings came on, he got the armband. He was talking a horse straight away. He was trying to get the boys up and about. That's the kind of leadership. Yeah, like, probably the game was dead, but he at least tried to show his leadership a little bit and try to get people up and about. Yeah. I mean, I think it was against Palace last year. We were down to 10 men and we won the game 3-0. We can play with 10 men. It's just didn't work.
To be fair, though, maybe they just don't understand McGinn. He's a shortbread heroin player. He's either had his shortbread and he's a brilliant player, or he's been on the heroin.
Yeah,
I think we know what.
I definitely think if he was playing more forward in that midfield,
I agree.
He'd be able to get more involved, because he looks like sometimes he wants to go, but he's not sure, and he's not doesn't have that defensive mindset where he can sit in front of the back four and dictate either. So yeah, he's being played slightly out of position for me. But one thing on Twitter that got a lot of slating, Dean Smith got slated for a lot, that I saw, was when young Jacob Ramsey got injured, and he brought on Ashley Young and played him in central midfield. What do you think of that, Troy?
I get it. I get why. You've got the experienced head. You've got someone to calm. You've got someone who clearly talks. You've got someone also getting the referees ear. But he's not the future. And I think he's done that at the expense of, Chukwuemeka, who is the future. So I understand why Smith did it. In hindsight, he got it wrong. I don't. Ashley Young is one of the players that, had we got relegated and if we get relegated and he leaves, I wouldn't care. Chukwuemeka leaves. Oh, what could have been? So we're just wasting our time, I think, with people like Young.
And that, in my opinion, was the best chance of the game to move McGinn forward, bring on Carney, who can play a little bit more defensive box to box maybe, and get McGinn in more of the attacking role. But as soon as I saw that move, I'm just like, why? That's the first thing that came to mind. Like, why do that? It really surprised me with that move. And obviously, I hope Jacob Ramsey is not too serious and he can be back soon, because he's been very, very good for us this season.
I mean, when we were playing well earlier on in the season, the young guys were getting a big chance and doing well. Ramsey, Chukwuemeka played as well, and Cameron Archer in the cups. So I'm not sure. Even bringing on El Ghazi at the end, towards the end of the game. No, did he bring on El Ghazi?
Yeah, he did. I think the last 3 minutes or something.
Yeah. Again, why? I don't really get it. Bring on Cameron Archer, and why not? Like that. Yeah. That seems to be. I don't know. He seems to have gone away from this sort of youth focus that he had maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago. And I don't get it, because I think that's the way forward. I mean, I would have started Carney in this game.
Same. Yeah,
but they're ripping it up in the under 23s, and when they do get their chances, none of them have let really the team down yet. But
maybe Dean Smith's thinking, you know what, I'm going to protect the players. The crowd's turned a little bit. They're getting a little bit nasty. I'm not going to subject them to that. But I don't think people in the crowd would look at that and say, okay, well, he's not putting Young on. He's putting the young fellas on. And who's going to get on their back? Anybody that does that is a dick anyway. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. But boy, it was sad. It was sad seeing the Villa Park so empty. With 10 minutes to go yesterday, it was. it was very sad. Obviously, I wish I could be there, and even if we were losing 4-1, I'd still stay there to the end, But it was just, it just like, obviously it's not as bad at the moment, but it just gives me flashbacks to that 15-16 season where Villa Park was empty every week, like that, pretty much,
Yeah.
So,
do we think the owners are not stupid?
No, they're not.
Right? They're not, and they're not just savvy businessmen. They're well versed in sports. I don't have a doubt that they would have been thinking as soon as there were a few missteps by Dean Smith, they would have been thinking, okay, are we getting a glimpse of the future? Should we be looking at talking to someone? Are we at the stage where they're thinking, okay, who would be available? Or are we at the stage where they know who's available and they've spoken to them? Or are we at the stage where they know who's available, they've spoken to them, and they've said, are you ready to start work in a month's time?
Well, Southampton away, Brighton at home, Crystal Palace away. They're the next three.
Big.
If he loses all those three, or he doesn't win at least one of them, then I think the writing's on the wall.
We need 5 points, in my opinion. We need 5 points from 3 games. We're averaging 1 point a game at the moment, and that's, as I think you said before the podcast, Miss Scotty, we're predicted to be 19th at the moment, and we had expectations of European football, and these are teams that we're planning on being well above at the end of the season. If we can't at least get 1 win and 2 draws, I think he's in a lot of trouble.
And here's a question for you, Dean Smith. As the commentator said, an awful lot during that game, suspiciously awful lot. I think he's got a lot of credit in the bank. Why they're harping on this?
Yeah.
I don't know. Is this a Sky thing that they're trying to keep the Villa manager in there and keep us plumbing into the bottom? Conspiracytheory.com. But Dean Smith is a Villa fan. He's made no secret of that. He does still have a bit of credit in the bank to a degree. Does he string this out and go the way of other managers to the point where people are throwing cabbages at him, or if he quits today and they get in a decent manager, you know what? That's almost legendary status. He got us up from the championship. He got us to survive. He got us to mid-table, and then he does the right thing to say, you know what? I've gone as far as I can go. Let somebody else go who's got some fresh ideas. That is a sign of an absolute legend. Or will he think, no, I can fix this and go down the route that every other football manager does and fuck us over?
The thing is, I back him in. I honestly do, and I'm still not on the Smith out wagon. I think it might be the credits in the bank, but I love him. I really do. I know we've played poor the last month, haven't got a point in October, but I imagine we get 9 points for the next 3 and somehow beat or draw to both Liverpool and Man City, and then we draw to Leicester or something. There's 12 points from 6 games, and we're like, oh, maybe it wasn't too bad. Arsenal were going through something very similar at the start of the season. Now they love Arteta and they're 5th or something. So it can change very quickly.
It can change very quickly. My problem is that, and I love the guy. I really do. He's just falling over his own feet at the moment, and it's not that he's coming out in press conferences to say, I got it wrong. I made the wrong change at the wrong time. I used the wrong personnel. When this happened, I should have done that. And when that happened, I should have done this. He's actually saying, you know what? We just got a bad rub of the green. We had some bad decisions. The formation was good. The play was good. No, it wasn't. He's bullshitting. And that makes me angry. I would much rather him turn around and say, my fuck up. Sorry, I got that absolutely disastrously wrong for the last few matches.
Yeah,
and if we're shipping 12 goals in the last 4 matches, that's on the manager. I'll wear it. I am going to work hard to fix that, but we're not seeing that. We're seeing bullshit.
We're seeing the defensive when we first got promoted, not the team that, after Project Restart was so incredibly well structured back, like defensively. Exactly. I think it might have a lot to do with JT leaving. Honestly, do. Yeah. I think it has a lot to do with that. I don't think we have an old defender that, like John Terry, for example, that can be in there and work with the back line, and say, you're doing this wrong every week. And I think it was really big letting him go, or, whatever happened.
Yeah. That is a good point. I mean, during that COVID season, after Project Restart, we were a far better team, and you've got to give Smith credit for that, because we were in a bigger hole than we are right now. Then when we lost 4-0 to Leicester before COVID hit, I mean, I think pretty much 9 out of every 10 Villa fans would have said we were down after that game. So, yeah, I mean, it's not impossible for him to turn it around, and we've seen other managers do it. I mean, every time Solskjaer looks like he's out of the job, he pulls out a result, so it can happen. But I do, from a long-term perspective, I do like if he was to go now, I wouldn't be distraught. Like,
No, me neither.
this is the first week I'd say that. Like, I wouldn't feel like he's been harshly treated, because we can't get relegated. We can't
afford
like
to.
the owners know it, the fans know it. We're not going through all that shit again. It took us 3 years to get back up. It's not as easy as it sounds. You can't just come back up. I mean, and
Well, to Norwich.
yeah, I mean, yeah, you don't want to be one of those clubs as well. You don't want to be known as like a yo-yo team.
No.
So yeah. I think they'll act if it gets bad, but
I
hopefully,
agree.
I don't know.
Where is the stepping off point?
It's these next 3 games. That's what I see it as.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I see us being better. Well, I say 3 teams. You need to be better than 2 more teams, because Norwich, like, they're relegated now. I'm sorry, Norwich fans, but you're gone now, in my opinion. If they stay up, I'll donate $100 to Acorns, even though I should have did that anyway, but I'll do that anyway. The goodwill of my heart. We got to be better than 2 more teams.
We're a very big channel in Norwich, like high numbers.
Yeah, I know, but you never know. But like, I'm just saying, like, they're pretty much gone, sadly, for them, because they can't stay up ever.
No.
But we need to be better than 2 more teams.
Watford.
And Watford, maybe they're on the same amount of points as us right now. And at the moment, unless something happens, I think I was saying to Troy, Newcastle.
Yeah.
They look in a lot of trouble at the moment. What, they're going to spend 300 million in January? What's going to happen there? It's not going to change them.
No.
So we need to be better than 2 more teams, and I think we are. But it's just going to be a long, long, long 28 games. I'll tell you that. 28 games left.
It is.
I mean, look, when we came up, we went on that unbelievable 10-game run. Can we do that again?
Hope so.
Well, yeah, but I can't see it happening.
No, neither can I.
At the moment, I'd like to see us string 10 passes together and play well for 10 minutes, let alone 10-game run.
The odds suggest that we couldn't do that again.
No.
Yeah.
No, and there's not going to be, here's where your opinions change. Let's go back a few weeks, and he couldn't do wrong. This new system is working fantastic. We've just beat Man United. We didn't deserve to beat Man United, let's face facts, but we beat Man United. Things were going quite well. And he is the Messiah. What are we going to do in Europe? Who are we going to face in Europe? Are we going to buy some more players for Europe? Now it's like Smith's out. And I'll be the first to say that if he wins the next 5 games in a row, I think Tommy will be back on here with his sign saying Smith in.
Yeah.
And I will too. We're all very fickle, but at the moment, I can't see where the points are going to come from. And it's a worry.
And I agree, because I remember going into that United game, I was thinking, who are we going to lose to? And now it's like, shit, I don't think we'll beat Southampton. I don't think we'll beat Palace. I don't think we'll beat Brighton.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to think how quickly this sport can change your mind. Like, it just ruins your weekend. Like, honestly, ruins your week. And I just can't. I don't know. I think I said 10 points. I'd happily take 4 now out of the next 3. And I said, 9 or something out of the 4.
Yeah. Do we think? Let's go back. Do we think there's a problem with the management and the players looking at the body language? And we discussed this before the show started. That Buendia jumped over the gate. Now let's not take that lightly. For Buendia, that gate is very high. That is a Grand National level gate, and he cleared that. He's fucked off. He's going back in the showers. Yeah. He couldn't get away quick enough. That's a bad sign. We said with a couple of minutes to go, he made Ashley Young run over to Dean Smith. Made Ashley Young to come over to him to have a chat in his ear. A tactical chat at 4-1 down with a couple of minutes to go, and we're down to 10 men. What on earth is he saying to him? Ashley Young, turn around. Have a look at it. Go back and review. Ashley Young, turn around. And he's just like, what the fuck is he talking about? That's not good.
Sanson pulled the finger at him.
And that looks more and more true, doesn't it, with him being out with illness?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't believe that.
No, I don't believe it either.
There's certainly, some dark stuff going on behind the scenes, and you can just feel it in the crowd. It was only a couple minutes into the game, and it was really quiet. All you could hear was the West Ham fans saying,
Fair play. West Ham fans were class. They were class. And I think they have every right to be. Their team is honestly flying high. And you go back to 2 seasons ago, when we finished 17th and they finished 16th.
Yep.
Look at the pass have gone on now. They made Europe last year, made 11th, and now they're pushing for Champions League and we're in a relegation scrap, apparently. So,
yes, and they got a couple of players that we were very close to getting that have turned out to be really good in Ben Rama and Bowen.
Bowen's a gun and a Villa fan.
Yeah.
But hang on, let's have a look at that for a second. Ben Rama didn't even show up.
No, Ben Rama didn't do much. Ben Rama's really good at what we need someone to do is run at players.
Yep.
The amount of times I think it was Cash that I saw tracking back, I thought, oh God, and every time he got the ball or Bowen got the ball, I thought, geez, they're a very good chance of scoring here. Very good chance.
Yeah.
And
yeah. And in the middle of the park, we weren't winning anything really. Especially not in that first half. In the second half, Nakamba had a good time when we went down to 10, which is crazy. I don't understand how we can play better with 10 men.
I do. This is a mentality thing. They have their excuse all packaged up, ready to go. We're down to 10 men. We're not going to. No one's going to blame us for losing a game at 10 men. No. The weight's exactly right. The weight's off the shoulders. Let's go for it. Let's have a bit of fun. And the pressure's off. And when the pressure's off, they go for it. And look at the difference. Why did they not play like that when we had 11 players on the pitch?
Yeah.
Well, we got to ask Dean Smith that, because that's the manager's job is to prepare the team so they can go out and play with a swagger, with a confidence, with a game style, a game plan, and all those things over the last 4 or 5 weeks haven't been there. No. Is
there anything good to take out? The one thing that I can think of is when Ramsey went down injured, the camera sort of peered down the sideline and there's his brother warming up. I thought that was rather nice to see. And I thought that was about the only good thing to take from this match. But what do you reckon?
Well, I think that could have been a good thing to take from the match if he had actually made the change and put on one of the young kids, put on a Ramsey or Chukwuemeka or Archer, I think that's been the biggest positive this season, has been how the young guys have gone.
Yeah,
because if you think about it, apart from maybe McGinn, none of our senior players are having a great season.
No, not at all. But not only that, right? Let's say West Ham, they're reviewing us for this game. They're going to go, oh, Charney Chukwuemeka did this in the under-21s the other day. Yep. They're not going to look into them at all. They're going to say, McGinn's weakness is this, this person's weakness is that. You bring on Carney, they're going to have no idea what he's going to do with the ball. They're not going to look at him. They're not going to know what to do.
And as we talk about that pressure and that weight on their shoulders, the young kids don't have that. They just play football. They don't, they're not worried about, them getting booed or, they're just, I'm playing for Villa in front of, 40,000 people. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
And, that can be infectious. That can get some of the other guys go, look at this kid. He's only 17, 18 and he's not feeling the pressure. What am I doing? Come on, pull your socks up. Let's go. And, sometimes you need just a shot in an arm like that. But I don't know. It just seemed like such a negative substitution. The young one,
I don't know. I still can't get my head around it. I still can't get my head around it. But anyway, it is what it is. It's happened. It's in the book. I just think we got to move forward now. Just got to pick up results.
Well, that's it. West Ham got another couple of goals in junk time that I don't really want to talk about because it was just shit by them.
I'll say that Martinez save last season, he parries that out for a corner or someone's there to mop it up. Just there's no one there at the moment. Martinez, he's missing saves by a millimeter, or he's parrying him into the goal, or he's, parrying him to bloody strikers. Last season, this didn't happen. Last season, if he parries it and it's, someone's going to come in, Mings is there putting in a last ditch tackle, or Cons is there, or Cash, and everyone's there. It was a defensive unit.
But we got to protect him better as well.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Yeah. But even when teams did get shots off, well, defensively we're more aware of what was going to go on, and it just again looks like it. We've got Oyen Neeland in goal again. And
See, the first goal, you actually saw him get up and you could hear him mouth the words,
Yeah,
I didn't see it.
yeah.
And there was a whole bunch of players in front, and it
That's
happens
fair
to
enough,
goalkeepers. Yeah, it is fair enough. But I also think, you know what, the difference between the goalkeeper who's on the top of his game and playing so well like he did, you know, over the last sort of 12 months, and what we're saying now comes down to the culture and the environment at the club. Is he happy there? Is he happy with the manager? Does he know the plan? Does he know what's going on around him? You know, is he completely confident with the players in front of him?
Well, he went
And
to
for those players, sorry,
Argentina in
for
a
those,
week,
yeah, well, yeah, that's difficult as well. But the players in front of him, they have to be confident in
Yeah.
each other,
Mm.
and all the confidence stems from the manager. And I think it's a problem.
This same project we had in place, you know, the master plan project wasn't good enough to keep Grealish here this season. You know what I mean? Like agreeing to a project a year ago and then leaving 9 months later. How good is this project that Smith's going to go with?
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, it's definitely a question mark. I mean, like we've talked about, I don't know. He could win the next couple. He could lose and be out.
It's very
really,
fine line. It's fine line right now for him, and I do feel for him because I know he'd be feeling the pressure as a Villa fan.
Yeah,
and the crowd was quite toxic yesterday. The first time it's properly been toxic at Villa Park, I think I could say. And you know how hard it is to turn fans once they go toxic. It's very, very hard. We've seen it with managers.
Yep.
And normally when the crowd goes, they're about 1 or 2 games off being gone.
Mm.
Yeah.
Is Traore?
He was out. He was out with the thigh. I think he's still not 100% from his injury. I think he had surgery the other week or something. I don't know, but yeah, we need him back.
He was one last year that got us a lot of important goals.
Yeah.
You know,
a
lot, and
he's silky. He's silky on the ball, Traore, right? He's very silky on the ball. I just think of him when that goal against West Brom, just literally passed it into the net.
Yeah,
you know, we're not. I'd love to see us pass like that to a player, but you know.
And here's the thing, right? Picture him in your mind's eye. You can see him down that right side.
Yeah.
Cutting back and then passing to a player, a bit of give and go. Who's he? If he came on, who would he pass to at the moment? Yeah. This is a big problem we've got. There's no support play.
I think something stands out to me in the game. I'm not sure who it was, but I'm pretty sure it was Cash running from right back. He passed it and it went out of bounds. He literally passed it behind him.
Yeah,
I think Nakamba.
That was Nakamba. I was like, you know, like that's just how we're going at the moment. And
yeah, that was Nakamba. Yeah. He
so,
just didn't. He just didn't read it. Nakamba, his attitude is my first option is to pass back. My next one is to pass sideways.
Yeah,
not quite sure what forward means.
I will say though, Dean Smith's touch on the boundary line, get him in. Can he play CDM or something at the moment? Like it was a pretty good first touch.
Oh yeah, we could do with something definitely. Yeah, so you know we ended up losing 4-1. That's 13 goals in 4 games conceded.
Yeah.
Do we think the referee had much to do with the loss?
Well, I mean, the red card is questionable.
You can blame him, but apparently I was watching because I was awake for ages after the game. You know, I think I didn't go to bed like 6 a.m. or something. Apparently, Jared Bowen was actually offside for his run when he got tackled from Konsa. And looking at it, he was offside.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah, he was. If you look, Tim Sherwood, you know, the GOAT himself was talking about it, and they frame by framed it. He was offside.
They don't even check that.
They didn't check it. Yeah, they didn't check it. So looking at it back, big moments in the game. Because I think Konsa actually went to the linesman and like looked at him and said he was offside, but they didn't even look at it. So
is that was from the ball that was put through to him where he got
sent off? Yeah.
Okay. I didn't think it looked borderline. It would have been worth a look, but just without using little lines, you know,
they didn't.
The television.
Yeah. So
okay.
I don't know. That Tim Sherwood was very, very adamant it was offside, and the other bloke, there was a former West Ham player, said he was onside. So yeah.
I don't think I can blame the referee for any of the decisions that went against us. We should have been down to 9 players, really. However, he let a couple of West Ham players off with talkings tos and yellow cards that I just thought that could have been a little bit brighter yellow.
The one on the camber looked really bad. I don't know. I mean, I think it's probably yellow for me. Like But yeah,
I think there was two players flying into a tackle.
yeah.
He was late. I don't think there was a lot of malice. He tucked his feet into it, but
No.
I didn't pick it. But I've read a lot of people talking about it when after that tackle happened, the ball came loose and we were on the break and we were.
That's right. We were.
Yeah.
We were.
And the referee pulled it up. Yeah.
And when he pulled it back, you're thinking, all right, he's going to pull it back because this guy's going to get a card.
Yeah.
You know, like if he's not getting a card, then just play on, right?
Yeah.
And he didn't get a card, so. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
odd. But what about Nakamba's little roll around after he? Did you see that? That was some sort of little breakdance move. It's like he.
To be fair, he would have been in some pain. That was a big collision, and I don't think I'd be getting up from that for a week if that was me. So
he looked like he was folding and then like up
Yeah.
and down.
Yeah.
And two blokes came over and dumped McGinn on his ass. I did think he was going to get stabby. I got to be honest with you.
Yeah. If there was a broken beer bowl around, it would have been on.
Yeah. So come on. What will let's not dwell on the negatives because there was a whole lot of them. What are we taking positive from this game?
Buendia got an assist.
Yeah.
Buendia got an assist. Ollie
Watkins got his second goal. Buendia can do 100-meter hurdles.
Yeah. We showed a bit of fight with 10 men.
Yeah.
Ming,
wow. Yeah.
Okay, when he came on, he didn't look like he'd spat the dummy completely for being dropped.
Yeah. Leon Bailey got more minutes in the legs, maybe.
Yeah.
But not many.
No.
I just want to wake up and it be match day again, and we beat Southampton, someone we haven't won for years actually. So
isn't it funny with the young fella?
Noah.
What was that?
We beat him. We beat him last year.
Oh, did we? Oh, yeah, we did 1-0, didn't we?
Ross Barkley.
Yeah, honestly, because I remember we used to have a horror run. At St Mary's.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, when I was there, we didn't have a shot in the first half. I think we had 2 shots for the game and lost 2-0. So I have PTSD from.
I can remember one game we were like 6-1 down at half.
Yeah, Shane Long and Sadio Mane. No, Shane Long and Mane. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, but I think Southampton are probably one of the teams that we could finish ahead, you know.
Yeah.
So it's a massive 6-pointer.
Yeah.
Like absolutely huge.
I will say Southampton fans are taking the piss at the moment. I've got to make this a Southampton fan. And he sent me something from Southampton Supporter Group to Australia. Did Danny Ings say he wanted to leave for Champions League football or Championship football? Because they're taking the piss out of us now because we bought him for 30 mil and they're up there above us. So we got a point to prove, in my opinion. I think Ings will play and I think he'll score.
Do you think they'll start him?
That would be good.
Well, I think so. I don't see why not. He knows how to score against these guys in training. Well, he did.
I would, but then what you look at the reverse of that. You Ollie Watkins scores and you drop him. What does that say?
I think Watkins plays. I think that he'll put Buendia back in the middle where he doesn't play well, but he'll put Buendia in the middle, Bailey out right where he plays well, Watkins out left where he cuts in naturally from anyway.
If Buendia starts again,
he will because of Ramsey's injury. What would you rather? Would you rather Buendia start at Cam or Ashley Young start at centre mid? Because they're going to be one of the two.
Okay, I'll rather Buendia.
Yeah, exactly.
But there are other options. McGinn,
yeah, I know there are, but it's going to happen.
Play McGinn there.
My best mate's a Norwich fan, and I mean, even he's sort of given up watching because he knows they're going to get relegated. But he cannot believe that Buendia is struggling with us.
Yeah,
he thinks he's basically a shorter version of Lionel Messi.
Everyone was happy when we signed him. Everyone was.
I was buzzing.
Yeah, everyone was happy when we signed Ings. Everyone was happy when we signed Bailey, and Twanzebe when we got him on loan, and they haven't. None of them have really, hit it off. I mean, Bailey's been good, but he's been injured. Ings, it's been sort of all right, but
I just think it has to be it now. They've got to. If they don't start clicking now, then I don't think they ever will because we can't keep saying, "Oh, they're new players." It's been 3 months.
Yeah, can't blame it on the lack of preseason. That's gone.
No, it's gone. We've played 10 games in the Premier League, 2 games in the Cup. You can't keep blaming it on gelling.
Yeah, this is Smith's biggest game since the game we stayed up on the last day.
Yeah.
I don't think the bearded blonde lady is making too much of a difference to anything except long throws. What the fuck? We're like Stoke.
Yeah,
From
now
But
Bailey's doing,
10 years
now
ago.
Bailey's doing them.
But our long throws are shit.
Yeah, they're terrible.
They
Yeah.
are so shit.
Yeah.
Like, I think we had one good long throw in which we scored from, which was against Newcastle. And that is it. In my opinion, I don't think we've looked threatening from another one.
I read during the week that Villa actually have someone that assess, you've got people who assess the team for statistical analysis of the team.
Yeah.
They're wearing the man bras and all this. Apparently they have someone who is running analysis on the management team.
Really?
I would very much like to get a look at their books.
Yeah.
What are they making of William Shakespeare and Smith and the bearded blonde lady?
Well, I don't think they're
Why is
rated
no one
very
laughing
high
at
at
me?
the moment.
Every time you call in the bearded long lady, I love it so much.
Yeah.
It just makes me laugh every time.
All right. Well, that's probably us done for this week. We don't really want to fill you with too much negativity, but Noah has a question for us all for the comments. Please like and subscribe, everyone.
Yeah.
And keep watching. Keep the faith. We're keeping the faith for now. Big game next week, so tune in for that, Mum. But what was the question?
Realistically, 3 games, how many points we're going to get? I know we asked this one last week.
And will
as
Smith
well.
Will Smith still be here?
Yeah, and will Smith be the manager
after the next 3 games?
And lastly, are we going to stay up? I think that's the most important one. Are we going to stay up? I want to see what everyone else has to say. So, me personally, yes. So I think Smith will have until January. Like, I think he'll win enough games in the next 3 to stay as manager until January.
Okay, if you were the owner, what is an acceptable number of points for the next 3 games? 5?
Yeah,
I think 4 probably.
So anything.
If you got a win and a draw,
what's a sackable number of points?
0 or 1,
less than 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
He'd have to win one of those 3 games.
He has to win 1, and I think he has to go undefeated in 1 minimum. He can't get less than 3 points or 3 points. I don't think that's enough.
Brighton, pretty damn good. Just come back from 2-0 down at Anfield to get a draw. So
Graham Potter's going to play good footy.
Yeah, they're in the top 6, so that's not going to be easy. But all right, that's enough for this week. Thanks again for joining in, and please leave your comments, and we will see you all next week. Up the
Sorry, Coxie.
See you, lads.
Yeah.
Yeah.